revolt, I have specifically said revolt against who and why, and therefore that should be known. And get right to, this is Preacher Doc taping on the Sabbath, the 15th, for God's Day, the 16th. And by the time I tape, especially the 4 programs, it goes into God's Day, and they're 3 hours ahead of us. So what I want to emphasize is that the Hooverists pride themselves and let it be known that they can watch you and film you and study you and then figure out that the day after tomorrow you have to go buy your bread at a certain place, or and then in 2 or 3 days there are certain home chores you have to do, and they get ready with operatives so that they can say that whatever they want to say occurred. I've been doing this as long as I known them. So, what is the solution? The solution is, as I have insisted and demanded, my constitutional, and Bill of Rights and civil rights, etc. And that is, if they have that much ready, they certainly can say, pardon me, Doc Castellano, from the Justice Department, here's my card. We have decided that we want to settle your claims. And we'll settle it. You see, you can do it in 1 day. Certainly in 5 working days, especially, you have a weekend where a lot of times they meet in a certain place to figure out what country or a military operation they're going to do and who's going to do it, and the money, and the appropriator are going to get the money, and who's going to make the money. Have no excuse. Then by Thursday morning, when the sun rises, they better have made an offer to settle. If not, I'll then figure out how much they really owe me and start charging interest. Now, what do I really want to do? Of course, it still is upward and forward, upward and forward. And after a while, this U.S.A. is going to crash. It has to. Its position is impossible. It is based on assassinations, murders, cover-ups, grand robbery, grand theft, violation of the Constitution, Bill of Rights, civil rights, laws of God and man. They are revolting against the laws of God and man and the Constitution, Bill of Rights, civil rights. So we have to revolt against their revolting quagmire they have forced the U.S. into. Obama's not born in the U.S.A. That was all rigged. It was rigged like to try to get what they did in Vietnam, and that is it got so bad that they went there, they drafted, and they drafted what? The poor. The rich, they were going to college and so forth, or didn't have to go, or, but the poor were like unemployed, or if they were drafting them, and most of them were black. And they got those, hey, this ain't right. So it got to where they were revolting. So they brought in a black commander for them. It still didn't work because it was based on the fact that they were going to force all of Vietnam to be capitalistic. Now, the people of Vietnam have been fighting to have their own country for, I guess, 200 years. So it just kept up, and eventually they obtained Vietnam, all of it. And I volunteered to go over there at least 5 times, but Hoover wouldn't let me go over there. The first thing I say is the problem is not here. It's back in Washington. Hoover insists he's going to be the man regarding this campaign. This time he's going to win. He says he won in North Korea, and I says, no, you better say it was a draw. In philosophy, I think you actually lost. Oh, he didn't want me around. But he wouldn't let me get over there. And the 6th time I said, look, either I go over this time or I just back off, and it's all up to Hoover. And what happened? It was complete collapse, complete defeat. Wasn't that correct? And that's where the U.S.A. is worse. They're in a position of assassinations, murders of witnesses, rigged elections, cover-ups, robbery, grand theft, you see? And so this president is not born in the USA, is a legal president, is a legal commander-in-chief, and they brought court action, everything against him, and they use something about they can't prosecute because they don't have standing. You mean to say a major in the military, especially with that rank, doesn't have standing? Obama don't have standing. He's not born in the USA. He's not a citizen. That's who don't have standing. You see? They just turn everything around. I'm supposed to be a honored, wealthy man. Well, he's quite wealthy. The Xerox Corporation makes billions. I'm talking about millions of billions. They got me. I've done nothing, am nothing, and they won't pay me anything. They won't compensate. And they will even laugh in my face and say, yeah, that's what can you do about it? They want me to argue with them, so I'm argumentative. They can write down these argumentative, anything they want to write down. It's supposed to be I'm a bad man, you see. So what can we do? Well, I'm for the House of Representatives. Of course, they had the standard investigation, but they got overwhelming proof. And they take and impeach Obama. He's an illegal president, a fraud. He's as much a fraud as that they finally now admit it, and there's tapes and you can get it. Now I guess he's ducking someplace. Fraud of that Stephen Hawking. Yeah, all electronic gimmicks and so forth, fraud. Of course I knew. They stole my string theory. Of course I knew. But I didn't know how bad it was, and that they actually let an American pose as his voice, make believe he's Stephen Hawking. These are the true facts. So that's where I'm at. And to put it succinctly, the F.B.I. would look up who's like in charge and is not doing good, or they shouldn't be there or something, and not doing good, and they say, oh, yeah, it's the blackest ass. So by F.B.I. standard classification, Obama has the blackest ass.